Welcome everybody. It's a new day, a new session here at the wheel. It is the 8th of July 2019 and that means that we are doing a brand new session. It's Monday. So we're going to do a few different sessions a week. Sometimes we might carry on, other times we might have a new session like we have today. So what I need to do is I need to put a ball on top, and then where is number 8 in the wheel? 8 is just there. And then let's get the wheel going. And quickly before we start, my name's Adam. I am going to be spinning this wheel a few times a week for you here on the channel. It's a real European roulette wheel, casino quality, full size, and I have been spinning a roulette wheel for the best part of 10 years now. It's been a very long time I've been spinning. Hopefully I'll do myself justice, hopefully I'll do all you justice, and the purpose of this is just for you to see what a roulette spin is, to see how the wheel behaves in an extended session. So we've got 30 minutes on the timer, that is how long we have together. So I'm going to start that timer, and we're going to spin from the date, which is number 8. Our first spin is underway. Now for the spin to be classed as valid, the ball and wheel must travel in opposite directions. The ball must go around the wheel at least 3 times, which it has done, and we must try and spin from in line with the number, and every single spin the ball and wheel are going to reverse directions. So as you can see, we've got a clockwise ball and an anti-clockwise wheel, and our first result together is the red number 1. 1, it's a red number, it's an odd number, and it's a low number. It's in the first column, in the first dozen, and it's part of the Orphaland section of the wheel. So as you can see, the ball and wheel are travelling in a different direction now. We've got a clockwise wheel and an anti-clockwise ball. It's gone round about 10-15 times by now, so it's definitely a valid spin. And we are landing in, let's wait for the drop in together, Sweet 16, my birthday number, is the second taxi off the rank today. It's 16, it's red, it's even, and it's low. In the first column, in the second dozen, and it's part of the TCS section of the wheel. Now I'd like to apologise for my voice, it's quite husky today. I've had a little bit of a throat infection the last few days. A lot of my videos, I get progressively huskier and huskier, so hopefully my voice will survive this first half hour. As we go into number 4, another low number, another first column number. This time it's black and even. It's in the voisin section of the wheel, and it's in the first dozen. And we move on from number 4. We're doing rapid spins. As soon as the number's confirmed, I'm going to pick the ball up and I am going to do a brand new spin. Now I confirm these results manually, so that could mean we have a few misconfirms here and there, but I can edit them as they happen. If they happen, number 6, sticking with the low numbers. In the third column, it's black and even. In the first dozen, and it's part of the Orphaland section of the wheel. Now I'm doing quite a few hard spins to start off today. I will vary the spins from time to time. And I'm trying to keep that wheel speed legible on screen, because in person you can easily track a section of the wheel. The camera can't do that. The camera can't decide where it's going to track, so we have to track the entire wheel. And 32, breaking the low number chain. It is red, even and high, in the middle column, in the third dozen, and part of the voisin section of the wheel. As we move on from 32, we're going to get our next result together. And this is going to be our 6th spin. I'm not quite sure on the time remaining, actually. My timer has disappeared off the screen. Let's see if I can get that back up. There we go. 27 minutes remaining. As we land in number 28. Black even and another high number in the third dozen, in the first column. And it's part of the voisin section of the wheel. Now you may notice, I changed the direction of the wheel before picking the ball up. That is still perfectly valid. Loads of different ways you can spin a roulette wheel. A lot of them are valid. Some of them will get called up in a casino, others won't. I try and do my spins as neatly as possible, but sometimes they do get a little bit sloppy. As we land into number 8, Ocho, the snowman. Middle column, first dozen. It's black, it's even, and it's low. And it's in the TS section of the wheel. So some dealers, they will exclusively change direction of the wheel when they're picking up the ball. Other dealers that exclusively pick up the ball after they've changed the direction of the wheel. Me, I'm somewhere in the middle. Depends on how I'm feeling, and it depends on where the ball is. As we go into 21. 21 is red, odd and high in the third column in the second dozen, and it's part of the voisin section. So now my hand is here, the ball was there, so it made more sense to pick up the ball after I changed the direction of the wheel. Of course, there are ways to rectify that, and I shall show you some in the next few spins. By no means am I an expert at spinning. I haven't had full croupier training. I had training for specific purposes. However, I think I do have a fairly good spin as we go to number 30. 30 is in the third dozen, it's in the third column. It's red, it's even, and it's high, and it's in the TS section. So sometimes we can do that and spin from there. I have noticed when I reverse the direction for my clockwise wheel, my spin normally comes directly in line with that particular hazard there. That hazard, which is on your right hand side of the screen. Number 1, red odd low, first column, first dozen, first reoccurrence, and in the Orphaland section. So let's reverse and then spin. And it's always nice to do it twice. There's nothing sweeter than a repeater. 2 numbers back to back is called a repeater, and that's what we've had with number 1. 1 is still red, it's still odd, and it's still low. It is still in the first column, still in the first dozen, and still part of the Orphaland section of the wheel. 2 numbers back to back. I was known as the repeater king at some point. That's because I tend to do an awful lot of repeaters, but they tend to cluster. So I'll have a lot of repeaters, and then I will not do a repeater for a very long time. 24. If it bounced the other way, we could have had a tripeater, but instead we're in 24. It's black, it's even, it's high. Third column, middle dozen, and TS section of the wheel. That was spin number 12. We are rapidly filling that marquee. 3 more spins including this one, and we'll have a full marquee, and that first number 1 will drop off the end. As the numbers drop off, you may want to make a note of them, you may want to rewind, or you may just use the last 15 results. It is up to you as we go into 32. 32 is red, even and high, middle column, third dozen, and part of the voisin section of the wheel. Second time out for number 32. So, the wheel has no memory. We spin from directly in line with the previous result. However, that has no real influence on where the ball's going to fall next. There are so many random elements with the game of roulette. Little bit of difference in the spin can create a big difference in the result. 5 is the next result. It is red, it's odd, and it's low. Middle column, first dozen, part of the TS section of the wheel. 1 more spin and we fully populate our marquee for the first time today. What's it going to be? Some people think that dealers, spinners, croupiers, call them whatever you want, have a clue where the ball's going to fall. I have no idea. I know it's number 2 now, and 2 is black, even and low, first dozen, middle column, part of the voisin section of the wheel. So 2 making its debut, joining that marquee, and now the next spin across, or the next spin will push number 1 across to what would be the 16th place on the marquee. Our marquee is only 15 numbers long, so that is approximately 8 minutes worth of spins. Number 15 is the number that replaces it. 15, it's black, it's odd, it's low. It's in the third column, in the second dozen, and it's part of the voisin section of the wheel. So the French sections, they are 3 different sections on the wheel. You've got Le Voisin de Zero, literally neighbours of zero. That is 22 black through to 25 red clockwise. Tiers de Cylindre, that is 27 red through to 33 black clockwise. Number 20 is the next result. 20 in the Orphaland section of the wheel. It's in the middle column, middle dozen is black, even and high. And then the numbers, not included in the voisin and the tiers, are called the Orphaland, the orphaned numbers. So they are 17, 34 and 6 on the right hand side of the wheel, and then 1, 20, 14, 31 and 9 on the left hand side of the wheel if 0 is at the 12 o'clock position. Number 22, on the edge of the voisin. 22 is black, even and high, first column, middle dozen, voisin section of the wheel. So the voisin is the largest section, so you'd expect the lion's share of results to go in there. Tiers the second largest, so you'd expect a lot of results, about a third of the results to go in the tiers. Orphelin, you'd expect very few results, comparatively speaking. And our next result is Huge and Rouge, the number 36. 36, it's red, even and high, it's in the third column, it's in the third dozen, and it's in the tiers section of the wheel. Lazy spin then. If you see my arm coming in from the top of the screen, you know that I'm being lazy and spinning sitting down. It's when I go to this bit here, where you can see my left hand, that's when you know I'm standing up to spin. Let's have a look at the next result. It is going to be number 9. 9, it's red, it's odd, it's low. It's in the third column, it's in the first dozen, and it's part of the orphelin section of the wheel, those orphaned numbers. The ones neither in the tiers nor the voisin. So the tiers and orphelin are actually neck and neck at the moment, 30% apiece after 20 spins. The voisin, 40% of the spins. And your next result is in the tiers. It's the 23. The 23 apparently, it's the enigma number, number 23. 23 is in the middle column, it's in the middle dozen, it's red, it's odd, and it's high. So the tiers making a little bit of a resurgence. Now the stats are well in favour of the tiers actually compared to the other sections. The orphelin's still on fire comparatively speaking though. As we move into another orphelin number, our hottest number by far now, the red number 1. 1 on its 4th appearance of the day, it's red odd low, first column, first dozen, and part of the orphelin section of the wheel. 1 you can see we have the repeater of 1, that is on the right hand side of the marquee. We had 1 as our first result, and now we've got another one as our 22nd result. What's our 23rd result going to be though? That is the question. We're about to find out together in a couple of seconds time. Wiped its feet in number 1 but decided to go into number 5. Continuing the chain of red numbers. 5, it's red, it's odd, and it's low. It's in the middle column in the first dozen, and it's in the tiers section of the wheel. We have had 4 odd numbers in a row, we've had 5 red numbers in a row. And we've had no voisin in these red numbers, so they've all been on the southish side of the wheel. 9 being the only one in the north of the wheel, really. And sticking in the south of the wheel, but carrying on the odd number chain only, is legs 11. 11 is in the middle column, it's in the first dozen. It's black, it's odd, it's low, and it's in the tiers section of the wheel. And it's making its debut, so welcome into number 11 as we go for our 25th spin together. Now we've got a lot of numbers unseen so far, as you would expect. 37 is the technical minimum number of spins you can get to get every number, but it very, very, very rarely happens. If it has ever happened at all, in fact. The big green 0 is making its debut though. 0, not in any of the outside chances, columns or dozens, but it is in the voisin to 0. However, 0 is not the centre point of the voisin. It is stealing 26's thunder, because there are the exact same amount of numbers on the left and right of 26 in the voisin. Same with the Jeu 0, 0 spiel. It's actually Jeu 26, or Jeu 26. 22, Casablanca's the next result. 22 on its second appearance of the day. It's black, it's even, and it's high. It's in the first column, it's in the second dozen, and it's part of the voisin section. 22 is one of those numbers that always catches me out. I always want to say it's in the third dozen for some reason. However, we know it's in the second dozen because it's between 13 and 24. And our next result, what dozens that's going to be in? Could be any of them, or it could be none of them. It is 18, next door to 22, and that is also in the second dozen. It's in the third column this time, it's in the voisin to 0, and it's red, it's even, and it's low. Next results on the way in a few seconds time. I hope you're all having fun. We're almost halfway through this session. We have got through 28 spins, so we're going to get through roughly 60 spins together. Probably not enough to get every number out. Could get the majority of numbers out. In fact, I would almost bet on that. 17's the next result. 17 is on its debut appearance. Let's get 17 up in lights. 17's black, odd and low, middle column, middle dozen, awful land section of the wheel, and probably the most played number on roulette tables, because it's slap bang in the middle of the table. Those middle column numbers generally are more popular. 17, 29, 5 to some extent, 8 to some extent. They're the numbers I think of when I think of heavily covered numbers. And our next result together is number 7. Another popular number, but this time because it's 7. 7, nation's luckiest number. It's red, it's odd, it's low, first column, first dozen, and in the voisin section of the wheel. It's making its debut. So we are missing number 3, number 10, 12, 13, 14, 19, 25, 26, 27, 29, 31, 33, 34 and 35. A lot of numbers. Too many for me to count while also reading other numbers. We can cross 27 off that list though. It's my personal favourite number. It's red, it's odd, it's high. Third column, third dozen. And TCS section of the wheel. Long spin to give 27 its moments in the glory. If I was dealing in a regular casino, of course I wouldn't influence my spin depending on the previous results. I would just spin normally. 27 on its first appearance, of course, and it is very welcome indeed. Continuing a chain of 3 odd numbers. Breaking that chain is number 20. 20 is black, 20 is also even, and 20 is high. 20 is in the middle column and the middle dozen, and it's part of the awful land section of the wheel. 20, consistently quite warm at the moment. It always does quite well for itself. The wheel is producing a lot of 20s. And I believe, don't quote me on this because I've not analysed the stats for a long time now, but 34 was the quietest number on this wheel for the longest of times. 18 red, another hottish number. It's red, even, and a low number, third column. First dozen, second dozen rather. And it's part of the voisin section on its second appearance of the day. Apologies for that. Just accidentally hit my mic switch. And we are moving on from the previous result of 18 and into 19, going up one on the table, but quite far apart on the wheel. 19, it's red, odd, and the lowest of the high numbers. It's in the first column in the second dozen, and it's part of the voisin section of the wheel. 18 and 19, a lot of numbers separating them, probably about 10 or 11. Couldn't tell you the exact number off the top of my head. But yeah, even though they're in the same section and they're adjacent on the table, they are not adjacent on the wheel as we go into 28. 28 is black, it's even, and it's high. It's in the first column again, in the third dozen this time, and we're still in the voisin section. 3 voisin back to back, meaning the voisin is doing very well for itself. The awful land doing very, very well for itself. The tiers, not so much. And our next result is the big green 0, out for the second time today. Not in any of the outside chances, columns or dozens, but it is in the voisin section of the wheel. 0 can be played just like any other number. However, the difference is there are fewer ways to play on the 0. You've got 0 straight up, you've got 0, 1, 0, 2 and 0, 3 splits. You've got 0, 1, 2 and 0, 2, 3 streets, and you've got the 0, 1, 2, 3 corner. Number 9 is the next result. 9, it's red, it's odd, and it's low. It's in the third column, it's in the first dozen, and it's part of the French section we like to call the awful land. 9 is on its second appearance of the day. It just fell off the marquee and it's come back on to the other end. So 9, I thought it was hotter, I've got to be honest. I thought it was on like 3 or 4 spins, but number 1 is our hot number. Got a handful of numbers on 2 spins, and 27 is joining that handful group. 27, it's red, it's odd, it's high. It's in the third dozen, in the third column, and that means it's part of the TR section of the wheel. Every number in the third column, third dozen is part of the TR. And the middle column is our quietest column at the moment. We've not seen it in 6 spins. In fact, the middle column is the quietest column overall, I do believe. 36, huge and rouge, third column, third dozen, red even high, TR section of the wheel, of course. Let me double check that. Columns. First column is on 31.6, second column 28.9, third column 34.2. So the third column is doing very well for itself today. That is quite unusual actually, the third column is normally the quietest. And our next result is going in the second column. Did you see that? Wiped its feet in 21, almost settled, and then went under the over the fret rather, into number 2 in the middle column. In the first dozen, it's black, it's even, and it's low. And it's in the voisin section, of course. So yeah, I was all ready to confirm 21, and it just sneakily wiped its feet. No magnets, just sometimes happens. The frets are dipped as they go into the centre of the wheel to provide a more random result. As we go back into the third column with number 15, 15 black, 15 odd rather, and 15 low. Third column in second dozen, and it's part of the French section we like to call the voisin section. Le voisin de zero, the neighbours of 0 for number 15. And we're moving well on from 15, it's so in the past, and we're going to our next result together. And our next result together is about to fall. I don't know where it's going to be until it lands. Let's wait for it to settle in 24, another third column number. This time it's black, even and high. It's in the second dozen, and it's in the TR. Only one high number in the third column that isn't in the TR, and that is number 21, all on its lonesome in the voisin section. The low numbers are a different matter, they're spread across all 3 sections in the third column, but third column and high, most of them are TR. And we're in the second column with 26. 26, it's black, it's even, and it's high. It's in the middle column, it's in the third dozen, and it's part of the voisin section of the wheel. And it's on its first appearance of the day, so welcome along 26. Still a load of numbers we have yet to see so far today. In fact, far too many for me to reel off again. I got very lucky and didn't trip over my numbers last time. So let's not try it again. Always nice to do it twice. Nothing sweeter than a repeater. Back to back with 26. 26, it's still black, even and high. Still in the third dozen. Still in the second column. And still in the voisin section of the wheel. So it wasn't out at all. And it's come out twice in a row. We had that with number 1 earlier. Is it going to be 3 times in a row? It's been about a year since I last did a 3 in a row. Having said that, it's been about a year since I last did a 4 in a row as well. Let's not get ambitious. Let's see if we get 3 in a row first of all. We do not, because we go into number 7. 7, it's red, it's odd, and it's low. It's in the first column, first dozen, and it's in the voisin section of the wheel. 7 on its second appearance of the day, and in fact, most numbers have come out 2 times now. Or a lot of numbers have come out at least 2 times, compared to the numbers that have been out once. And then, of course, we've got a lot of numbers that have been out nonce or 0 times. Number 3, next door to 26. 3, it's red, it's odd, it's low. Third column, first dozen. Voisin section of the wheel. What are the neighbours of 0? Neighbours is where you select a number, you place a chip on it, and then you place a chip on the 2 numbers either side of it. So in the case of 3, you would place chips on 12, 35, 3, 26 and 0. That's 3 in its neighbours, and a 35 to 1 return, 31 chip profit if any of those neighbours came in. In this instance, you would lose though, because it's number 10 in the TR section of the wheel. Practically opposite number 3. It's black, it's even, it's low. First column, first dozen, part of the TR, and it's making its debut, so welcome along to number 10. We are only missing number 12 in the first dozen, we're missing 13, 14 in the second dozen, 25, 29, 31, 33, 34 and 35 in the third dozen. So the third dozen is doing worst out of the 3. And are we going to change that? We are not, because we're going back into 21. 21, second dozen, third column. It's black. It's not black at all. It's red. It's odd. And it's high. So yeah, coverage in the second dozen. All pretty much on at least one hit, barring 13 and 14. 14 sounds quite dangerous, really. Doesn't it? 14. 26. Warming up quite nicely. Gone from very cold to now second hottest. 26. It's black, it's even, and it's high. Third dozen, middle column. Voisin section. Is that it for 26's heat, or is it going to heat up even more? I don't know. Number 1, we saw it a lot, but we've not seen it in 27 spins. Still the hottest number, but it is the number in 8th position out of those that have already been out in terms of cold numbers. Number 22, seen that a few times today, I think. Casablanca. It's now on its 3rd appearance. It's black, it's even, it's low. First column, second dozen, part of the Voisin. You may notice I always pause to take a breath when I talk about 22. That's so I get its column and dozen correct. It's one of my, somebody I know's very, very favourite number, so I should know it. Number 24 is the next result. 24, the opposite side of the streets to 22. It is a black, even, and high number. Third column, second dozen, and part of the tiare. Now if you're wondering, what on earth is he talking about? It's not on any road. A street is a strip of 3 numbers across the table, and it returns at 11 to 1. So 22 and 23 and 24 are covered with 1 chip, 11 to 1 return, and 22 and 24 are opposite sides of that street. 30 red's the next result. 3-0. 30, it's red, it's even, and it's high. Third column, third dozen, which means it's tiare. As we move on from the 30 red, we are going into our next result. And every number that's been out in the third dozen has been out at least once now. At least twice now, rather. So it's the dozen of extremes. It's either been out more than once or not at all. Double carpet, 33, changing that completely, making its debut. Third column, third dozen. Black, odd, high. And of course that means it's tiare because it's third column, third dozen. 3 third columns in a row. Our last first column number was number 10. Everything else has been... No, it wasn't. It was 22. That ruins the metaphor, doesn't it? Or ruins what I was talking about. Middle column, first dozen for number 8. It's black, it's even, it's low, and it's in the tiare. And our next result is on the way. So number 8 is on its second appearance of the day. Number 12 is the only one in the first dozen before we get full completion of that dozen. And we're not getting it now, we're getting another big green 0, third time out for the big green 0. Voisin section and nothing more for 0, unless you count the 0 spiel. 0 spiel, a smaller Voisin de 0, extended 0 in the neighbours. It's 12 red through to 15 black clockwise, I beg your pardon. 4 chips on multiples thereof, 0-3 split, 12-15 split, straight up 26-32-35 split. Red 1. Our hottest number of the day got a little bit hotter at long last. It's 1, it's red, it's odd, it's low. First column, first dozen, all for land section of the wheel. Hadn't seen it in a very long time, and now it is back out to say hello. So it's on its 5th appearance of the day. It's still, even with all that time, no other number was on 4 appearances. Sweet 16 is the next result. First column, second dozen. Red, even and low, and part of the tiare section of the wheel. 16 is on its second appearance of the day, so making no inroads into those unseen numbers. 12, 13, 14, 25, 34, 35, and 29. 35, cross it off the unseen numbers list. Middle column, third dozen. It's black, odd, high, and in the Voisin section. Welcome along to 35. After 57 spins, you were a little bit tardy, but there are plenty more numbers that haven't been out, I beg your pardon. In fact, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 numbers left to go. 32, it's on its third appearance of the day. It's red, it's even, it's high, middle column third dozen, and part of the voisin section of the wheel. 26, 32, and 0, all next to each other on the wheel, all have been out 3 times. Number 5, middle column first dozen, red, odd, low, and in the TR section of the wheel. I reckon this is going to be the penultimate spin. We're going to get through 61 spins together, I reckon. Maybe 62, depends how long the next spin takes and how long this ball takes to drop. With 20 seconds left, I think it's not feasible to fit in 2 more spins, so we're going to do 1 more spin together after this. First of all, we're confirming 15, 15 black, 15 odd, 15 low. Third column, second dozen, part of the voisin. Final spin coming up. 15 on its third appearance of the day. So now 0, 32, 15 and 26. 4 numbers in a row on the wheel, all with 3 appearances each. So that's 12 hits. So roughly a fifth of the results have been in 0, 32 or 15. And we're finishing with legs 11. 11 is black, 11 is odd, 11 is low. 11's in the middle column, it's in the first dozen, and it's in the TR section. My name's been Adam, it's been a pleasure to spin for you for the last half an hour. I shall be back later on in another video with another session of spins, and who knows, we might even get all the numbers out. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you very, very soon.